Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin, we had the Desir, where these Night Sister-looking people called the Desir decided to pass judgment on Arthur Pendragon. And we're like, yo, dude, you gotta start worshipping our triple goddess, whatever that means. And Arthur was like, I really don't. Like, look, sorcery's not that great. And they were like, oh, well, bring it back or something will happen to Mordred. And he's like, okay. Merlin, I don't know. You got any advice? And Merlin was like, damn it, we gotta let Mordred die. No, there can't be sorcery. And he was like, all right, no, we can't have sorcery. And they were like, okay, well, Mordred will live then. And it was like, oh, well, Merlin was like, damn it. So, yeah, that was that. That really was just that. So yeah, we're still not around to anything progressing on sorcery being legalized in Camelot. So yeah, this is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Merlin, head down to the description or to the pinned comment, click on the link there. That will take you over to the reaction. You can watch that, and when you're done watching that, you can pop back over here for the discussion. So, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Merlin. Here we go. You know, I was kind of thinking, like, this is a good episode, but, like, I don't know, like, is this going to have, like, implications for the future? Like, I don't know, like, I was thinking, like, this is good. I don't really know, like, how much I'm going to really talk about. One or two things. We don't know how long Gwen was in that room. We don't know how long Gwen was in that room. I'm going to say at the very least a week, which is pretty intense. I'm at least going to say a week. Maybe a bit longer. We really don't know. I don't think this is like a 100% like. I don't think this is like 100% legit. I think this is more like, okay, what I mean is, like, do I think that this is, like, legitimately, like, oh, Gwen is now a traitor and she's a villain? Not fully, you know? Because, I feel, I feel like she is still, like, basically under the influence of the mandrakes. Oh, God, excuse me. I feel like she's still under the influence of the mandrakes, and it's more of a, and it's not just like, oh, well, she, Morgana broke her. She did it magically, so I think it's more that this is again, like, I don't think, and especially too because there's no build up to this. Like, this just happens in this episode. So I don't think, like, I think that there could be some way, probably even magically, that Merlin could save Gwen. Like, I don't think this is a full betrayal. I think this is I think this is more that... Excuse me. I feel like this is more of being magically swayed, basically. Like, she's kind of been... Okay, she's been... I think she's been magically brainwashed. I don't think... Okay, I don't think it's like Morgana. Because Morgana was not magically brainwashed. She legitimately became a villain. She turned against Camelot and everything. So I don't think Gwen has legitimately turned against Camelot, of her own free will. I think she's been magically brainwashed, and it will require a magical solution to unwash her brain, to make her mind dirty, dirty, dirty. Which, I mean, I don't know. I was gonna make a joke about dirty minds, but whatever. Who cares? My jokes are stupid anyway. Not that that's ever stopped me from telling jokes before, but whatever. It was a joke where as I was thinking of it, I was like, this is way too stupid, to spend time on. So, of course, now we've spent time talking about it. Whatever. It's an obvious joke. You knew what it was going to be. So, this definitely has, implications, going forward. This is going to be a reoccurring thing, obviously. Other than the big, oh, now Gwen is a villain. Other than that, not actually a whole lot in this episode. There's no cast list on this episode. Why is it only every other episode has a cast list on Amazon? Okay, hang on. I went to IMDb. I need... The Dark Tower. Who played... Okay, I don't recognize her then. Okay, I thought I recognized the little forest pixie queen girl. I don't. She kind of looked familiar, but I don't recognize her. So, So yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's a weird thing where it's with this episode, it's okay, yes, this has huge implications going forward, and what's going to happen with Gwen now being a villain, and how are they going to fix it? Because that they can fix it somehow, Okay, by the way, and this is something, I think I mentioned this last episode, actually. So, Arthur and Guinevere have been married for 3 years, and they don't have a child yet? Really? And hear me out, because this is sort of tying into... I want to slightly tie this in, but in 3 years, in the Middle Ages, in, where, you have this king who repeatedly goes out on dangerous missions and almost dies in a bunch of them, and there is no heir to the throne. And granted, yes, if they had immediately had a child after their marriage, it would be max 3 years old, technically, close to 3 years old, because, 9 months to have a baby, and then, so it'd be around 2-ish, really. I guess closer to 2 than 3, honestly. So, in 3 years, they have not had a child. And again, yes, if Arthur died and had a toddler, toddler's obviously not going to be taking the throne, but Gwen would become Queen Regent until their child, came of age, basically, to rule the kingdom. So that's something I have been wondering. Like, I don't know if they just didn't want to do that, or maybe that's, who knows, maybe that'll pop up later in the season. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy? That would actually be pretty interesting if that popped up later. But yeah, in 3 years of being married, they haven't had a child. And the reason I bring this up is because if they had a child already, baby's out, we already have a child, then I could almost see this as an unfixable situation with Gwen. I could almost see it as an unfixable situation for Gwen, where, they already have a kid. So if Gwen dies, they already have an heir, I could see that. But even then, I still wouldn't see that. I don't think Gwen is just going to be, is just going to die. I don't think she's just going to up and die in this, even if they had a kid already. But that is something I've been wanting to mention, but I haven't really found time to mention, is how have they not had a child yet, because first off, we've always had the running joke of banging on the side. That has been the running joke since they, formed a relationship. But now they don't need to do that. They share a bed. This is the first episode since they've gotten married that they show they share a bed, So I don't know. I don't know how they haven't had a child yet. For who they are and the time they are in, how they haven't had a child, I do not know. So, but who knows? Maybe that'll come up. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the writers were like, you know what? We know this is our final season, so let's just not deal with a kid. We don't want to have to, have a little toddler actor. We don't want to deal with that. I respect that, I understand that, but still, how have they not had a child yet? I don't get it. Anyway. We can talk about this episode a bit. Yeah. Why don't we? That's what we normally do. But, I don't really have too much else. I don't have a lot to say about this episode. This episode, it's necessary for what this is going to mean going forward with Gwen, but the episode itself, it's one of those where it's that just kind of happened, The Dark Tower, okay, they said the Dark Tower wasn't real, and then they found it, and then they just went in and got her, and then that was that, and it was okay, I guess that's that. The mandrakes, that was very clever. I mean, Morgana's plan was very interesting. And again, this is one of those instances, where when Morgana wins, she wins, It's pretty devastating when Morgana actually wins, Which kind of makes her losses, that much more, weird. Because, when she loses, that's the thing. There's no middle ground for Morgana. When she loses, she loses. But when she wins, she wins. There's no middle ground, which makes her losing very, very odd. But the plan was very interesting, leave Gwen in this room for probably at least a week, maybe longer. Even a week is still pretty oh, geez, she was in there for a week, Leave her in this room with mandrakes, and the only contact she has with anything real is Morgana, who's just being super nice, which is playing against Gwen's mind, It's playing against her mind because she knows she can't trust Morgana. So, it's a very interesting idea. A very interesting plan, and I did like it, actually. But there were a lot of times where I swear there would be 3 scenes in a row where it's cut to Gwen crying in the room, then cut to the gang going through the forest or something, and that's it. You just show them, they're going through the forest, maybe a little thing happens, or like, Percival has blistered feet, and then, which I know wasn't in the forest, but still. And then it would cut back to Gwen, and she's still crying, and there would be maybe another ghost, and then it would cut away, and then it would cut back, and then Morgana comes in. It's like there were instances like that where we just get like 5 different like scene changes in a row, and none of them added anything. But the only thing I can say is, like, while it didn't add anything story-wise, it does add how long she was trapped in the Mandrake room, So, like, that's the thing, is that it was useful, but then, like, it's useful to show you, like, how much time has passed in this episode, but at the same time, it doesn't give me anything to talk about, except the fact that I can't talk about it, basically. So, okay, Morgana did mention there's like, oh yeah, I was chained in a pit for 2 years, and we did see that, I think it was back in episode 1 of this season, where, like, she had a dream, and I thought, like, oh, this is a vision, but you guys corrected me that was a memory. She's already, like, been through that, where she was chained in a pit for 2 years. What? How did that happen? Can I ask? How did that happen where, she's smarter than this, right? Right? She's smarter than this, where, she is a powerful sorceress, and she had a dragon with her, and somehow she was still chained in a pit for 2 years. How? What? I want to know the details about that, I wrote down north, getting through the impenetrable forest. I was right. It is kind of like the Lost Woods, where, it's like you do need like a specific path and stuff. So I did like that. And Merlin, Merlin, like, using his like magic senses to guide him through the forest. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, we got Breaking Gwen. Breaking Gwen coming soon to AMC, whatever. Is that what ran Breaking Bad? I don't know. It's where Guinevere becomes a meth chef. Anyway, but again, so an interesting idea of, because I was joking around at the beginning. It's like, oh, why doesn't Morgana just kill her? Oh, well, show for, teenagers, I guess. Like, this is more for younger people, kids, teenagers now. So it's like, oh, okay, so she can't just, and obviously she can't just up and kill Guinevere randomly. But it's like, why don't you just kill her, Morgana? But I actually like this plan a lot better, that it's like, no, I'm not going to kill her, I'm going to use her to my advantage. Like, okay, that was pretty interesting. I like that. We got the enchanted sword. That was kind of interesting. When Elian is like, no, I will, save you. I will fight this thing. And it's like, do you even know what to aim at? You're fighting it's just a sword. So it's like, unless you melt the sword, I don't know how you're going to beat it, So there was that. So yeah, it's like, how is he going to beat a sword? I don't know. But it was interesting, and another thing, I guess because this is a show maybe more marketed towards younger people, like when it hit him, I was like, oh, yeah, he got a little cut, but he can keep going, and it's like, and he did, and then he died, and it's like, oh, that was a deeper wound than I thought that was, and then it was such a deep wound apparently that he just died right then and there, and it's like, well then. So there was that, and yeah, Elian's dead. Yes, he's off the show now. He got his Lancelot moment. Man, they always say it's like, oh, well, I'll do it because she's my sister. I'll do it because she's my wife. And the rest of them are like, oh, she's our queen. She's our friend. And it's like, you might want to tone it down on what you're saying, how close you are to Gwen. Because everyone close, like, if you are close to Gwen and your name is not Arthur Pendragon, you're probably going to die. Like, it happened to Lancelot, now it's happened to Elian, So, And yeah, trust Morgana. Trust Morgana. We trust Morgana. That should be the hashtag of this episode. Hashtag trust Morgana. That should be. Can I get like a shirt of like, you know, like the Obama shirt where it's like it's a picture of Obama, but like it's like red and yellow, like the colors are kind of weird, and it says change like that. I want that, but it's Morgana and it says trust Morgana. Yeah, Gwen is now a bad guy. I don't think it's legit. I think it's more that she's been magically brainwashed more and probably more subtly than Merlin was brainwashed. But I think it is sort of the same type of thing. Even if, yes, she was broken, I think it was more... Okay, you know what I think it is? I think it was that Gwen was broken to the point that Morgana was able to magically influence her, basically. Like, she broke and the mandrakes allowed Morgana to enter. You know? I don't know. I think it's more that. I think there could be some way to magically fix Gwen and get her back to the way she was, basically. But that's all I wrote down. Again, this was a really, really good episode, but there are a lot of moments where I'm just sitting here like, all right, you just showed the same two shots a couple times. Like, what are we doing? You know, and it's like, okay, well, this does have, you know, implications for the future, and there's some great moments in this, but there's a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, yeah, we're kind of padding here. You know, like, we're padding this out, but at the same time, we kind of need that to show how much time has passed in this episode. So, yeah, kind of weird, but this was still a really good episode, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.